What if the darkest places in the universe weren't places of death at all? What if they were doors? Doors to other worlds, other times, other possibilities. That's the mystery we're exploring tonight. But first, close your eyes for just a moment. Feel the pull of gravity itself, pressing down not only on your body, but on this very moment. The weight of billions of stars, the hush of galaxies turning. Tonight, your mind gets to wander into the darkest, deepest parts of our universe. Will you fall asleep? Maybe. Maybe not. What matters is that for the next little while, you can let go of what's been chasing you through the day. The deadlines, the anxiety, the endless mental chatter. Instead, we're going to step into a mystery that humbles even the greatest of scientists. A question that could change the way we understand reality itself. So, get comfortable. Take a deep breath. Let it out. Now, let's journey into one of the most mysterious questions ever asked. Are black holes simply the end of everything? Or could they also be a beginning? Think of a door. Every door you've ever opened has one promise. There's something on the other side. But what if there was a door that broke that promise? A door you step through, and instead of a new room, there's only falling forever. That door exists. We call it a black hole. And here's what makes this door different from every nightmare you've ever had. This one's real. It's out there. And it might not be what we think it is. These are not distant curiosities tucked away in some remote corner of space. Black holes sculpt the very galaxies that we live in. They may even form the skeleton of the cosmos itself. Invisible architects holding everything together. They are at once the most terrifying and the most essential objects in existence. Which brings us to tonight's central mystery. If black holes are endings, why do some of the brightest minds in science believe they might also be bridges? To understand this mystery, we need to go back to where it all began. Not in some gleaming modern laboratory, but in the quiet study of a forgotten priest. Imagine the world in 1784. The universe was thought to be a perfect clock, set in motion by a divine hand, running on Newton's flawless laws. It was a place of light and order. Into this world steps John Mitchell, a quiet country clergyman with no famous titles to his name. He had no grand observatory, no powerful telescope. He had only mathematics and a profound imagination. He sent a letter to the Royal Society in London describing a thought experiment, a star so massive, so dense, that its own gravity would capture its light, a dark star. His peers, the great minds of the age, didn't know what to do with the idea. It was too strange, too monstrous for their clockwork cosmos. So, the letter was politely acknowledged and then quietly filed away in an archive, where it gathered dust for over a century. And yet, with ink and paper, Mitchell had unknowingly drawn the first sketch of a monster, writing the forgotten prologue to the black hole story. For 150 years after Mitchell's letter, the story seemed simple. A black hole is collapse, silence, an end, the ultimate period at the end of a cosmic sentence. But in 1935, Albert Einstein and Nathan Rosen were working through the mathematics of general relativity when they noticed something that made them pause. Their equations didn't just describe destruction. Hidden in the math was something else entirely. A tunnel, a bridge connecting two distant regions of space-time. Einstein himself was skeptical of his own discovery, but the math was undeniable. And so began the haunting question that still echoes through physics today. Is a black hole a tomb, or is it a door? Billions of black holes turn in the dark, unseen but immense. Some are small, the deaths of single stars. Others, weighing billions of suns, anchor entire galaxies. The nearest lies only 1,600 light-years away. In cosmic terms, a neighbor. And if Einstein and Rosen were right, each one might not just be an end, but a passage, a locked door, waiting. Let's begin with what we know. When a massive star burns through its fuel, gravity takes over. The star collapses inward. First, gravity pulls. Then, escape velocity rises. Finally, not even light can escape. A black hole is born. This process, this cosmic death, seems absolute, final. And for decades, that's exactly how scientists saw it. We call the edge of it the event horizon. Cross it, and no signal returns. In 2019, astronomers achieved something that would have seemed impossible to earlier generations. They photographed the shadow of a black hole for the first time, M87, a monster weighing 6.5 billion times our Sun, appeared as a dark circle framed in glowing plasma, like a lantern of silence burning at the heart of a distant galaxy. Here was proof, visible proof, of the invisible. This story of cosmic collapse has its own human echo. In the 1930s, a brilliant young physicist from India, Subramanian Chandrasekhar, stood before the world's leading astronomers. He was just 24 years old. On a blackboard, he showed his calculations that stars above a certain mass have no choice. They must collapse under their own weight, crushing themselves down to an impossible point. But the most famous astronomer of the day, Sir Arthur Eddington, a man who had helped prove Einstein right, stood up and publicly ridiculed him. He called Chandrasekhar's theory stellar buffoonery. The idea was too absurd. Crushed, Chandrasekhar's work was ignored for decades. But the math didn't lie. Time and the universe itself would eventually prove him right. So the conventional view is simple. Black holes are dead ends. Absolute silence. But, well, enter wormholes. Einstein and Rosen saw that their equations described not just collapse, but connection. A tunnel linking two regions of space-time. We call this the Einstein-Rosen bridge. The problem? It collapses instantly, like a dream fading on waking, unless something holds it open. Physicist Kip Thorne showed that a wormhole could, in theory, be stabilized by exotic matter, matter with negative energy. It's theoretical, but not forbidden by physics. But Thorne's exotic matter remained purely theoretical until recently. The idea seemed to belong more to science fiction than science fact. Then, in 2022, something remarkable happened. Scientists at Caltech and Google created the first laboratory wormhole, not in space, but in a quantum computer. They entangled particles in such a way that information could travel between them through what appeared to be a shortcut through space-time itself. It was tiny, just a few quantum bits of information, but it was real. A toy model perhaps, but the first step from pure mathematics into actual reality. Some theorists propose that black holes may be paired with white holes, the mere opposites that expel matter rather than consume it. Imagine it. Every black hole paired with a white hole somewhere else in the cosmos. Matter falls into one and emerges from the other. the universe becomes not a collection of isolated islands, but a vast network of hidden connections. Think of the movie Interstellar. To create the visuals for the wormhole and the black hole, the filmmakers didn't just guess. They went to the master himself, Kip Thorne. He filled entire blackboards with the equations of general relativity and handed them to the visual effects artists. The computers churned for hundreds of hours on each frame. The result was not just a stunning movie moment, but the most scientifically accurate visualization of a wormhole ever created. The image was so precise, so revealing, that it uncovered new details about gravitational lensing, leading Thorne and the effects team to co-author published research papers. A science fiction film had accidentally done real science. So consider this. Every black hole might not be a tomb, but one end of a tunnel. What if matter is not lost? What if it emerges elsewhere? What if somewhere, something or someone has already crossed? But pause for a moment and consider what this would actually mean for us. For everything we think we know about existence itself. If wormholes exist, they could connect distant galaxies, allowing matter and energy to flow between regions of space that are otherwise impossibly far apart. They could link parallel universes, entire realities where history unfolded differently. They could even connect different times, making past and future as accessible as different rooms in a house. This brings us to one of the most intriguing mysteries in anthropology. Ancient myths from cultures around the world whisper of holes in the sky, gateways to other realms. The Dogon people of Mali, with no telescopes or modern instruments, spoke for centuries of Sirius and its invisible companion star, describing its orbital period with startling accuracy, long before modern astronomy confirmed that Sirius B even existed. How did they know? Were they remembering something passed down through generations? Were they imagining? Or had they somehow glimpsed something that our science is only now beginning to understand? If black holes are passageways, then death itself takes on a new meaning. An ending becomes a transition. There's something both thrilling and terrifying about this possibility. If black holes are doorways, then we are not alone in our cosmic isolation. But it also means we might not be alone in other ways. What might travel such bridges? What intelligence might have already discovered these pathways? Would we want to follow them even if we could? And yet, even if no wormhole is ever crossed, the very idea expands us. It reminds us that reality is not finished, that the map of the cosmos is still being drawn. And so we arrive at a profound realization. Maybe the paradox isn't a problem to be solved. Maybe it's the point. Maybe the universe is trying to teach us something fundamental about the nature of existence itself. Black holes show us that destruction and creation are not opposites locked in eternal conflict, but partners in a cosmic dance. Every death births something new. Every ending opens a door. Every collapse creates the possibility for connection. Now, bring this cosmic story down to the most personal level. Think of yourself. Think of the moments in your life that felt like endings, the relationships that ended, the dreams that died, the doors that slammed shut with such finality that you thought you'd never find another way forward. Perhaps those weren't just endings. Maybe they were bridges. Just as stars collapse into black holes and galaxies are held together by their gravity, so too are we shaped by what we lose and what we transform into after loss. Black holes are not only about terror, they are about possibility. And tonight, that possibility belongs to us. So, as you drift now into that quiet space between waking and dreaming, as your breathing slows and your thoughts begin to drift, remember this: you are made of star stuff, atoms forged in the hearts of ancient suns. You are already connected to this cosmic story in the most intimate way possible. Perhaps every ending truly hides a doorway, and if you listen closely, you can hear the universe whispering, not of death, but of passage. What we call a black hole may not be an abyss at all, but a bridge, not a void of less than nothing, but a gateway to more than everything. So when you next look into the night sky, know this: Cosmos has not finished building its pathways. They are still forming in the dark, and some of them may yet lead us home. Well, if your eyes are still open, I hope your thoughts feel a little farther away from the noise. Thank you for listening. If tonight's story helped you slow down, I hope you subscribe. There's always another mystery to explore, and I'd love to share it with you. No matter what, I wish you peace and good thoughts. Good night, dreamers.